What's going on, everyone, and welcome to round 7 of RM Fantasy M Expert. I am your host, Chase, and we are headed to Spring Creek National in Millville, Minnesota. Jeremy Martin, Alex Martin, this track is literally in their backyard. And we got a lot to talk about, so let's dive right into it. Remember, if you're not playing RM Fantasy, you should be. It's free to play. Go to rmfantasymx.com. You create your account. You make your top 5 picks plus the wild card. We come to you each and every week to give you stats to help you make your picks. Then you just sit back and enjoy the race. And the best part is, not only is it free to play, we give away 10 grand prizes at the end of the year. Every week there's 10 amazing prizes given out, and we do fantasy cash. The points you score translate directly to fantasy cash that can be spent on the Rocky Mountain website. So do not wait. Get signed up. Start playing now if you haven't already. Even if you're out of the running for a grand prize, you can still win weekly prizes no matter when you sign up, so do it now. All right, let's get right into it here. Remember, grand prizes for this year. First place taking home a KTM 300 SX. Second's a Gas G-Lite Trail 2.0 e-bike. And then third is Ticket to Ride, and then 7 other amazing prizes. Weekly prizes for this week for Spring Creek. We have a Matrix Concept LS1 lift stand. Second place, Rocky Mountain Pizza Oven. Third place, Fastway Air EXT foot pegs. And like I said, we have 7 other weekly prizes. You can see those up on the screen right now. The weekly prizes rock. KTM leaderboards. Overall, Joey Bradstreet leading it right now with 485 points. DPT of Florida still staying up there in the top 3 with 478. And then CP 160, a new name, at 474. Remember, you can see the overall and the weekly leaderboards on the fantasy website. And then we got to talk about weekly winners. Fieo, hope I'm saying that right, won the FMF exhaust silencer. Get Some 23, GoPro Hero 12, and Jay wins. Well, he won a set of Fox gear. All right, here it is. This is your race recap. Your results from Redbud. We had Chase Sexton, Aaron Plessinger, Hunta coming in 3rd, Jason Anderson 4th, Justin Cooper 5th, Shane McElrath holding it down for the wild card. News and injuries. Tomac still out. Webb back on the bike. Don't know when he's coming back, but we should get an announcement pretty soon. Justin Barsh, remember, he is out. I thought Dean Wilson was going to be racing at Redbud. We talked about him, but I didn't see him line up. Not sure what happened there, but you never know when he might show up to one of these things. So make sure you're looking at the entry list. Look at qualifying, because Dean Wilson, if he were to come back and race this weekend, he could be a really good pick for the wild card, and we'll talk about that here later on. All right, now here we are, Fox Racing Track Trends. So again, Spring Creek, Millville, Minnesota. This track was actually started back in 1976, and it was used as farmland. And what's interesting is that the spring floods from the snow made it hard for them to cultivate this specific area because it all funnels in. So what do? They turned it into a motocross track. So thank you, Mother Nature. Weather looks amazing this weekend. It's going to be hot. We're going to be in the low 90s, looking sunny, very humid in Minnesota. So yeah, probably the hottest race that we're going to have so far this year. All right, jumping right into it, we have our 100% top contenders. But first, let's get to our man, Daniel Blair. I've got 2 questions for you, D. Blair. First of all, have the roles flipped with Jett Lawrence being out? In other words, is Sexton to Hunta what Jett was to Sexton? In other words, pending a Sexton crash, can Hunter just beat Chase straight up in a moto? I want to hear that. The other question is, what broke your heart more this weekend? Jett getting hurt, not racing the rest of the series, or seeing Cole Davies on a star bike? I want to hear your answers.
All right, good question. Silly question for that second one, but I'll take the bait. For Chase Sexton, though, look, I think the next 4 motos are going to tell the story. If Hunter can bounce back and make it 1-2 or 2-1, or just get in there and make it look like it did before, then I think we're good to go to the final moto at Ironman, and these boys will duel it out. But I think if Chase is able to win these next 4 motos and take a little advantage of this run, I think Hunter probably isn't feeling the best from his crash. The momentum's been a little deflated over there. So if Chase can put down 4 really good motos in a row and just beat them and just take all those points, I think you go into that little break feeling different about the championship. So I'm ready to give it another week or 2 to see if this thing sorts itself out. But there's a chance Chase could become that Jett type figure where it's just an automatic 1-1 and only a crash or a slip up is what will cause him to lose. So, but I just don't think it's safe to say that yet. We need these next 4 motos to see if Hunter can bounce back, give him a shot to do it, and see if Chase can build some momentum and win. What would it be, 6, 7 motos now in a row? If he could do that, then yeah, it's I think it's pretty much over. As far as the Cole Davies question, that's really funny. On a personal note, yes, it was sad. But as far as the sport is concerned, having Jett not there, I think is sad for everybody. There was a lot of talk about how Jett makes it boring, and with him there, there's no racing. Well, the first weekend with him not there, it was the least amount of battling and racing at the front. So I don't know. Maybe it is better when Jett's on the gate. So yeah, sad for the sport, but the Davies blue bike, personally sad for me, but whatever. Silly question on your behalf, but whatever. I take the bait every week.
All right, thank you, Mr. Daniel Blair. All right, here we are, your top contenders. Look, here's the interesting thing, is that no rider that is active, that is going to be racing this weekend, has won the overall at Spring Creek. All the past winners are all out, either with injury or they've retired. So this will be a first no matter who wins the overall this weekend, which is pretty cool. So look, Chase Sexton, he's probably a shoo-in for first place this weekend. After what he just did at Redbud, I don't know how banged up Hunter is. Took a pretty good slam in that moto, said he hit his head harder than he thought he did. So he's probably not going to be riding a whole lot this week if it were me guessing. But I'm going to put Chase Sexton to win just because momentum's the biggest thing in this sport. And right now, Sexton has all of it. But here's the interesting part, though. That question that I asked Blair, Hunter has beat Sexton in 4 of the 6 first motos this year. But Chase has beat Hunter in 5 of the 6 second motos. So they're actually kind of even when you look at who's beaten who in the different motos. So something to keep in mind. But let's talk about Hunta. So Hunter has not been off the box yet this year. He has been absolutely phenomenal. I still think he's going to get one of these overalls. He's gone 2-2-2-3-3-3. So he's got to be on your box. Is his fitness, for me, I don't know if the fitness is what he needs right now. I don't know if it's a sprint speed. It looks like Sexton, who we know is probably the most fit rider. Actually, I'm going to say it. He is the most fit rider that is currently racing a dirt bike in this series. So for me, it looks like Hunter drops off a little bit at the end of some of these second motos. Look, I know last week he crashed that first moto, was banged up for the second, but I still feel like Chase's fitness allows him just to hang back a little bit and make a late charge if he needs to. But if Chase gets out front early like he did in Moto 2 last week, it is over. So Hunter, maybe a little bit more sprint speed, and then could maybe improve his fitness just a hair for those second motos. Justin Cooper, 4 to 5 range is perfect because that's all he does. He got 5th place overall last weekend, 6.43, 5.45. So he's only been out of the top 5 one time this year. He has 4 moto podiums, and his second moto average finish is 1.3 spots worse than Moto 1, so something to keep in mind, but he is a shoo-in for 4th or 5th overall. So next up is Aaron Plessinger. Look, AP is for me the hardest rider to figure out where I want to put him in my top 5. He could be 5th overall, or he could do what he did in Redbud and get 2nd overall. So I'm not quite sure, but he looked dang good at Redbud. I feel like Spring Creek, I think, is going to be a good track for AP. It gets rough, very ruddy. But what's interesting, though, is Moto 2 from last week was just his 3rd podium finish in a moto this season. So I felt like he was doing better than that, but like I said with Sexton, momentum's the best friend for these guys. His starts are kind of unpredictable as well. His average is 6 in Moto 1 and 13 in Moto 2. So AP could have an amazing weekend or he could have just an okay weekend. You just never really know. But he's going to be in my top 5. Probably in that 3rd place right now with Jett being out. I feel like AP is a good pick for 3rd overall this weekend. All right, Jason Anderson. Look, Anderson's kind of like AP, kind of unpredictable because last week was just his 2nd top 5 overall this season. But here's the crazy part. He's finished between 5 and 3rd in 8 of the 12 motos, which means he has a good moto, but he also has a bad moto. He just isn't really stringing 2 consistent motos together. He's going to be in my top 5 this weekend. Going to be probably 5th place overall. But for Anderson, he's just hard. He's a good top 5 pick, but he's got to put 2 motos together. All right, Dylan Ferrandis. Ferrandis has not finished better than 5th in any moto this year. So I think he's not as safe of a top 5 overall pick as Anderson. But if you were to get in the top 5, it wouldn't be surprising to me. So if you want to get a little bit risky, if you're trying to make up some points, Dylan Ferrandis, I think, could be a sneaky pick for 5th place overall this weekend. And those are your 100% top contenders. All right, here we are, Bell Wildcard Watch. This weekend, it is 13th. Here's my top picks this week for that. Freddie Norn, average overall finish 15.5. I feel like if Freddie puts two good motos together, a 13th overall is a good spot for him. Shane McElrath just went 19th for 16th overall. Again, a little unpredictable this year, but if Shane can put two good motos together, just like Freddie, I think he's a great pick for 13th. Phil Nicoletti, he's had two overalls better than 13th. He went 10th overall at Fox Raceway, and then at Southwick, he went 8th overall. Last weekend, he got 15th. So his average right now is 15.5. Again, he kind of falls right into that 13th overall range. Marshall Welton has finished between 12th and 14th overall in 4 of 6 rounds. That, to me, statistically says Marshall is a very good pick for this weekend. And then Christian Craig, his average overall finish is 14.5, but he's only finished 13th or better in half the motos this year. So a lot of these guys kind of fall right into that, I would say, 12th to 16th place overall. So any one of them can find themselves right there, 13th this weekend. But my sneaky pick this weekend is Mr. Harry Kulas, 13, 14, 9th overall this year. He's finished 17th or better in 6 of 6 motos. So check to see if Harry is going to be racing this weekend, because if he is, he's a really good pick for 13th overall. All right, folks, here it is, my Motion Pro Lock 'em in. Look, call me predictable, but I'm going to the exact same top 5 that we just had at Redbud. I got Chase Sexton to continue the momentum, get the overall. I got AP doing the same thing. His starts have been good. He's riding good. He's going 2nd overall. I think Hunter is just a little banged up. Probably not going to be riding a whole lot this week. So for him, I think 3rd. Look, you got to keep him on your box. He hasn't finished off it all season. I just think 3rd overall this weekend, probably a realistic spot for him to finish. And then I'm going to go Jay Coop 4th overall, Jason Anderson 5th. And for my wild card, I'm going with none other than the 28 of Christian Craig. Daniel Blair, who do you got?
All right, so I'm going to go with Chase Sexton. I do think he's good at Millville. I think he gets the win there, 1-1. I think it'll be a tough-fought battle, but I think he goes 1-1. Let's go Hunter Lawrence in 2nd. I'm going to go Aaron Plessinger for a back-to-back podium. I'll put him 3rd. I see Jason Anderson 4th and Justin Cooper, let's say 5th right now. I was really high on him a couple weeks ago, but I think he's kind of settling in. It's been a long summer for Hunter Lawrence and Justin Cooper, their first full year doing 450. So I think they're probably just getting to that burnout point a little bit. So I'll put Jay Cooper with a terrible 5th place finish. And then in 13th, let's go with Grant Harlan. I'm a Grant Harlan fan, and as long as it's in a range of, say, 9 to 15, I'm going Grant Harlan because I just like the guy. So it's what I do there. I did Chase Sexton, Hunter Lawrence, Aaron Plessinger, Jason Anderson, Justin Cooper, and Grant Harlan as the wild card. See you next week.
All right, thank you, Mr. Blair, for those picks. Who do you have? Who's your top 5 right now? Who's your wild card? I want to know. Comment down below. And also, I want to give a big shout out to Chance Hymas. Look, I know Chance. He grew up racing the local race series that we have here in Utah. So I've been watching him ride since he was on 65s, 85s. So to watch him get his first win in Colorado, now go on to win the overall at Redbud, I feel like it's a child that I've been watching grow and then get his first overall. So I just want to give a big shout out and congratulations to Hymas. And watching him ride, you can tell he's been riding a lot with the Lawrences, because you watch what he did. He was using braking bumps to jump 100 feet down one of the hills where Hunter crashed. Things like that, you know he's picking up little bits from the Lawrence brothers. So Chance, breakout year. Congratulations to you, my friend. And that does it for round 7 of RM Fantasy M Experts. Hopefully you've enjoyed the show. Remember, like, comment, subscribe. And as always, let's have some fun this weekend. Let's go win some prizes.